there was a woman named Helena, and although no one could tell by looking at her from the outside, she carried inside herself a kind of exhaustion that didn't come from her body, but from her soul. Everyone saw her as that strong, determined woman who held everything together on her own, who smiled even when the world felt unbearably heavy. But what no one knew was that she rarely looked at herself in the mirror with kindness. Every morning she faced her own reflection as if she were staring at a stranger. She saw flaws no one else could see, criticized every detail, diminished herself in silent thoughts, as if she weren't worthy of the love she so freely gave to others. And she lived this way for so many years that she began to believe that this distorted vision was the truth. But everything changed on a day that began like any other. Helena woke up late, the coffee burned, her plans fell apart, and what should have been just another ordinary day became the day that would change the way she saw herself forever. Exhausted, she decided to take a walk with no destination, trying to run away from herself without realizing she was actually running toward the very thing she most needed to find. She walked through streets she had never noticed before, until her feet led her to a small, quiet square bathed in gentle sunlight. She sat on a bench and, for the first time in a long time, took a deep breath. That is, when an elderly woman with white hair, who seemed to carry the world, serenity in her eyes, approached and asked if she could sit. Helena nodded. The woman looked at her as if she could see beyond the surface, as if she could see what was hidden behind the forced smile, and then she said, in a voice so calm, it felt like an embrace, "You know, my dear, you're seeing yourself through mirrors that don't belong to you, mirrors made of other people's criticism, mirrors built from experiences that hurt you, mirrors of unfair comparisons, but none of them show who you truly are." Helena felt her heart race, as if those words had been made especially for her. The woman smiled and continued, "A woman's true image isn't shaped by her past mistakes nor by the judgments of others. It's built by everything you've survived, by the love you gave when you had no strength left, by the courage you never even realized you had. Have you noticed, my child, that you speak with kindness to every woman except yourself? Tonight, before you go to sleep, I want you to do something. I want you to tell yourself, I am enough. I love myself. I am love. I am transformation. Say it until you believe it. Because when you change the way you see yourself, the entire world changes with you. Helena, without knowing why, began to cry. It wasn't sadness, it was as if her soul were being washed clean. That sentence echoed inside her so many times that it felt as though something long asleep had finally awakened. And in that moment, she realized maybe the problem had never been her. Maybe the problem had been believing the version of herself the world tried to impose on her, when her true version had always been there, waiting to be set free. That night, Helena did exactly what the woman had asked. She stood in front of the bathroom mirror, the same mirror that had witnessed so many insecurities, discouragements, and comparisons, and this time she decided to break the cycle. She looked at herself with sincerity, without the cruelty she was used to. She observed her marks, her lines, her tired eyes, and understood that every detail told a story no one else had survived for her. For the first time, her reflection didn't look like an enemy. It was a woman who had fallen and risen so many times. She deserved to be celebrated. She took a deep breath and said, her voice still trembling, I am enough. I am love. I love myself. I am transformation. At first she didn't believe it, but she repeated it again again and again and once more, until something inside her began to align, as if her heart were finally understanding what her mouth was saying. And in that almost imperceptible moment, she felt it. She was being reborn. The next day, the world wasn't different, but Helena was. And that changed everything. When she walked down the street, she noticed people looking at her with curiosity, as if something about her was glowing at work. She realized her posture had changed. It wasn't arrogance or vanity, it was presence. It was confidence. It was a kind of energy that doesn't need to be announced because it simply felt. And for the first time, when she saw herself in the reflection of store windows, she smiled because she finally recognized who was standing there. As the weeks passed, small transformations began to happen. She stopped apologizing for existing, learned to set boundaries, understood that self-love isn't selfishness, it's foundation. She started wearing clothes she once feared wearing, not to draw attention, but to celebrate the body she had learned to accept. And even more surprisingly, she began to inspire other women. Friends, co-workers, even strangers commented on how different she seemed, more alive, more radiant. Helena discovered that when a woman recognizes herself, she lights up everyone around her. And one day, as she looked into the mirror before leaving the house, she remembered the woman in the square. Her heart tightened with gratitude. She thought about going back to thank her, but for some reason, she never found her again. And maybe, just maybe, that woman hadn't been a stranger at all. Maybe she had been a reminder sent by life, a whisper from the universe saying, "Wake up, you deserve to see yourself with truth, love, and lightness." Helena smiled at her reflection and said, "I see myself, and now I know who I am." And as she walked out the door, she felt something powerful awaken, the certainty that nothing would ever be the same again, because a woman who learns to truly see herself never again accepts being invisible, small, or diminished. Helena discovered that her value was never in anyone else's eyes. It had always been inside her. And today, that same truth is for you. When you change the way you see yourself, you change everything. If this story touched your heart in any way, if it made it beat a little differently, then keep walking this path with me. Watch the other videos here on the Love For Me channel, because each one was created especially for women like you, strong, bright, incredible women who only need to remember the power they already have. Click on the next video now and come discover everything you still deserve to live.